Ah, Jesus Christ, like the 50th time I died. That's it. Nope, no more, no more. Rage quit.
Conan noobs!
Well, hello once again, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome back to Wargame European Escalation Multiplayer. This is the same map as before, Highway, but I'm playing as PACT this time. As you can see, I'm setting up my vehicles now, and this is what we call Heart versus Tech. I am versus NATO. It's just a 1v1. Enemy there, Homer FCB, was a good match from him. You can see him setting up, got two Super Chinooks ready here, along with M577Gs ready to go, a Flak Panzer, and a command vehicle sitting over here in the woods. Good setup, pretty good map. I'm sure you can guess who wins, and not to sound too bold, but I haven't yet been beat, but I have come close a few times, and it's rather exciting to have such close matches in this kind of game. Of course, Wargame European Escalation probably being the more tactical of the games that are available out there. As you can see, I'm also setting up pretty much the same as how I set up for the NATO, which is a couple of recon helicopters versus the one that I usually use, a couple of 2K-22 Tunguska anti-aircraft platforms, and a few UAZs. My UAZ is hidden back here to hold Alpha while these vehicles attack. And a good tactic, which I don't see very often, is people just probing. Now, it may seem a little weird, but I am a prober. Yes, I will admit it. I don't like throwing in tons of vehicles into the battle until I know what I have to go up against. And since in Wargame European Escalation, most game modes require you to capture these command zones, such as Charlie and Bravo, for the extra points, not to mention the reinforcement area, but the real objective is to destroy the enemy. So if the enemy has 50 helicopters, there's no better way to destroy the enemy and end the game than having nothing but anti-aircraft defenses, which is good. Yes. So anyway, what we have here is a really good mix, a really great mix from Homer FCB. You can see he's got Chaparral up there in the corner, a lot of nice anti-air, a really good and a really vibrant spread of what NATO has to offer to the battlefield. A couple of Leopard 2A4s here, AMX, and Raketen Jagdpanzer 2. I'm sorry, that's just two. No, just one of it. It is the Raketen Panzer 2. The rocket. I have not used this vehicle, but it's basically just an ATGM missile platform. A couple of Challengers as well. Let's get into it then, shall we? We'll talk tactics while we do this. My tactic here was to take these infantry units, these BTRs and everything, and move them over to the left, since the area around and in front of Charlie, between Charlie and Delta, is heavily forested, and no better area for those units to occupy than a very dense forest, heavy cover for them. I think the game has also been sped up a little bit too, even though I'm at speed ×1. If I back it down, it operates at half speed, but that's okay, because I don't want it to last too long. I don't want to babble on forever for you know, what's going on, which you can clearly see, but I do like providing a little bit of commentary, and if you like my videos, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. You guys are great friends, great fans, and I like to see you guys interacting with me. And there will be a question at the end of this battle. I will ask it now, though, just so I don't forget, just in case I do. But my question is to you, friends and fans, have you beaten the single player on this game yet? I have not. I'm 1 or 2 missions towards the end, the very end, Russian rebel campaign. Spoiler alert, but it really doesn't matter. But if you've beaten it, let me know. What did you think? And if you haven't, tell me what you think that you will expect in the game when you get to it. Alright, so we have a real good convoy from Homer coming up here, and looks like Flak Panzer and the M577G are moving over to this corner of the Gulf. That's exactly what I would do as well, coming up from Gulf from behind and probably occupying this forested area here. I now have my BTRs moving up. Chosen the BTRs because they can move a lot faster than most regular units, because they are wheel driven. As you can see, it's not like the BMP, which is a tracked vehicle. So it's a lot faster, especially on these roads, and no better place to use them than on the highway. And speaking of highway, we have Homer breaking off here to occupy Echo. Looks like he's, well, at least he's securing it with a few of his units, some Leopard and AMX. Really good overall in the battle. You can see that I'm taking up a position here, and if you are not familiar with these index cards for the units, you'll get used to them. Armor personnel carries a circle with an X. You'll get it eventually as we play more and more. But the BTR now being engaged here by the VAB, or the VAB. I'm not sure if this has a weapon on it or not, which it does. It has an M2 Browning machine gun on it, 12.77 millimeter. The BTRs have dumped their infantry motor Strelicky moving into the forest with BTRs in support with the FACT units. The anti-tank ATGMs with them. Actually, the Russian term is just the Salos. It's the anti-missile system for them. So there's 12 there, and the Challenger is now in the forest and is going to be engaged by the motor Strelicky, taking out half the motor Strelicky there with just one hit from that Challenger. Infantry now having a real struggle destroying that Challenger. I can remember my hope, or at least my thought at this time, was that that Challenger would be taken care of no problem, but unfortunately that's not the case. Chaparral over here working great anti-air cover, being the bouncer of the sky, making sure no welcomed guests show up to the party, especially those who happen to have rotating wings. And motor Strelicky now routed, BTRs being taken out, and the FACT moving in, trying to get closer to some of those units is a last ditch effort on my part to try to make a difference to the battle. And as you can see, they're engaging that AMX. Too little, too late for me. A little too greedy on my part, but to punish him for making me have a heck of a time, we brought up the Akatsiya 253M artillery, and that's now firing upon the forest here, which very surprised Homer has not moved any of his units out of the forest that's being heavily pounded. Challenger now moving out of the way. Flak Panzer M42A1 into the area, and the Hemmet now resupplying some of those units. BTR is being chased away, being engaged by the Challenger. Flak Panzer is now stunned. Over on the right, we have a really good defense here, mix of Panzers and AMX, Chaparral. Good anti-air, anti-tank weapons, along with some toe-to-toe tanks. MI2s were doing a little bit of scouting for the ILGA anti-aircraft missilemen that I kept behind, just to see what we have. Also the Tunguska AA now sitting in the back. Bravo has become a real stronghold for me now. A lot of good units defending that, including the T-62 MV. Now, the reason that I call this map Heart versus Tech is that you can have all the technology in the world, but that does not mean you're going to win the battle. And so you'll see in this map that even though he's brought a lot of high-tech weaponry to the battlefield, including the Apache and the Chaparral anti-aircraft missile system, you still must be quick on your toes and utilize every piece of equipment that you have to your advantage. He's now bringing in Gazelle Scout and more Chaparral. No helicopters yet on my part other than the Scouts, so he may be trying to eliminate those just due to fears of me spotting more of his units. Flak Panzer now moved out of the forest into the forest to the left. Delta now not secure due to the risk of the artillery. Gazelle now searching for any other units that I have, and it looks like it's the ILGA's time to shine. Fired a missile, destroying it, and Gazelle is down. Boom. Doe! Too bad for Homer. He now has no vehicles on the unit, or no units on the field to scout with. No unit available there. Was a good move on his part, though, to try to see what I have. Another Hemmet moving up. Oh, I'm sorry. He does have another Gazelle that he may have called in. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, yes. He did call in another Gazelle. Would be good to get some more ground units for him to scout with, but he's doing pretty well. As you can see, he's secured Golf, Foxtrot, Echo, and Hotel, and I only hold Charlie, Bravo, and Alpha. A little bit of a fight over Delta at this point. I'm definitely wanting to get in there. He now has artillery trying to counter mine. That was the point of my artillery, was to try to close in on his units here, meaning tighten up my firing radius on them, destroy them, and bring in more infantry. Unfortunately, a little too late on my part when I brought the infantry. VAB moving in the back along with the chaparral and support and a tank coming to this area here. And Gazelle coming up again to try to scout after it was destroyed the first time. Looks like he's keeping it far enough in the back. More Akatsia artillery moving in, more Ural trucks moving in to support or to repair, rearm, refit all of these units here. There's some already in the forest, and there's some back here along with an MI2 that probably being refilled. And a good move on my part, which brings me a lot of pride, is to always defend Bravo. I cannot tell you how many times, and you'll see when I post other videos, that it becomes a good option to try to cut the enemy off here and watch their reinforcement point here. And it's completely up to the enemy on where they call in their units, where it will come in, and a lot of them desperately want it up in Bravo right away, but sometimes it's good to keep them in the back. And now I have Motor Streliki helping to defend that reinforcement point. T-62's moved into the tree line too to defend against anything that he might bring up. M125A1's now getting ready to fire again, more than likely on the Akatsia artillery. The I think it's 253M, but it might be an S. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But I believe it's the 253M, and I might flip-flop on there a few times. But he's definitely reinforcing Golf at this point. Flak Panzer, FAMAS, the Chasseur FAMAS, to be exact, along with VAB and AMX tank moving in there. Hemmet now coming, and that's what I call it, the Hemmet. That's kind of what it looks like. There's no I, but it is moving in to help repair some of those units that were lost. And it looks like the artillery was taken out, unless he moved it, but I don't think it moved that fast. So the artillery was successfully countered by the now up to 6 artillery that I have. Looks like he might be funneling units in for an attack on that right flank. And as we wait for the attack to begin, I'd like to remind you guys that the channel is getting up there with subscribers, and we're almost to 200, and so I greatly appreciate all the views, likes, comments, and subscriptions. And again, turn into Men of War Assault Squad if you want some more dude bro in-your-face ponage, but this will not be the game for that. This is more of a tactical analysis of the battlefield, as where the Men of War Assault Squad series is more it's more of the platform for the rape train to arrive. And looks like there is a train of units coming in now. M2106A2s, A1s, Chaparral, and a Zippo coming in for reinforcements for him. Oh, looks like Chaparral now opening fire on the MI2. Not being moved yet. Did try to get under those trees, but unfortunately had a really good hit, taking that pilot out and ultimately destroying the helicopter there. Zippo moving in at the back. It looks like that's the end of the train for his new reinforcement line. A lot of units being called in, but not a lot of them being applied yet. As you can see, I have just really light defenses on some of my areas. Not really comfortable with that either. I could have definitely done better in a little bit of my planning. I did bring a Tunguska up to deal with that Gazelle that's been floating around, and so that's bopping back and forth a few times. A couple of the units in the forest have remained there as well. Good area for artillery to hit still in that forest, and in that the forest here as well. M106A1 moving in right now, which this unit is it's basically a mortar carriage, basically. Chaparral moving in as well to finally support this area with a second anti-aircraft missile system. The M106A2 now opening fire on looks like the UAZ that's parked in the forest down here. Tunguska moving out of the way due to the AMX that's somehow made its way down here, unless that's from him calling those in. Sometimes during the replays, the computer will display where the enemy has called out reinforcements, and so sometimes it does appear that a unit is there. But the AMXs are moving into this area here. I must have noticed this, or at least I'm afraid of the Leopard here, so moved in the T-82 T-80s and T-62s. A lot of missiles being fired now by the 3 remaining T-62s, 2 of them now being destroyed from Homer. The Leopard 2A4 now opening fire on those units, along with the artillery being fired upon by the UAZ being fired upon by artillery. The Akatsia getting ready to fire. Not exactly sure where. 1 T-62M left. It is now out of missiles. Actually, there's 5 4 out of 5 missiles left on that, rather. And it looks like that unit is now being pulled back by me. 2 T-80s moving up to deal with those Leopard 284s. Best thing that I could call out, the biggest, I guess, challenge to the Leopard 2A4 that I have on the battlefield. Gazelle now moving away again. Nope, now moving back. AMXs are funneling into the attack, and it looks like we're going to have a full-on strike here. Tunguska now moving in to engage the Gazelle. T-62s moving in to engage the AMX, and the T-80 was just destroyed. We now lost one T-80, now in desperate need of repair, and was finally destroyed. Critical impact on the AMXs. Stabilization destroyed, and critical impact from the Tunguska, which is now being countered by the Leopard 2A4. As you can see, there's a great lineup here for every unit to basically be engaged with. There's no units being brought out just to be out by either me or Homer. Every unit is engaged in this battle fully in this area, and that is very good. Raketenpanzer now being it's now targeting what will probably most likely be the T-62s, and Rocket is away. No, it's now engaging the Tunguska over here, which is now on the move. Oh, no, actually it is going for the T-62s. Real big turn there from that Raketenpanzer. Artillery coming in, AMX is firing on it, and it looks like reinforcements have arrived. Mi-24 VP now moving in to take out those AMXs. Another AMX getting ready to fire, and the heavy guns have arrived. Yes, the Mi-24 VP, literally unchallenged by any units around here. The chaparrals have been moved to the far back. Nothing up front to support that attack. As you can see, the points are 650 now to 870. NATO being ahead by a couple of hundred points here, as Homer is pushed off of my reinforcement point. Artillery still coming in, AMX still sitting back there. Not a lot of change on the left side of the battlefield. Looks like all units have been focused on this right portion here, just at the steps of Bravo. A64 Apache now moving in. Tunguska now moving in to take him out. Let's see if he can do it. Getting ready to fire. He has now fired a missile. Oh, and so has the Apache. Missile missed. Apache missed. Oh, actually did. Oh, no, it actually did hit. Destroying the Tunguska, and there was no hit from the Tunguska either. Very unfortunate. Leopard 2 now moving into the bottom forest line. The only thing defending Bravo is nothing. There's nothing to defend Bravo with. There is some artillery units that are now being engaged. Mi-24 now opening fire from its Gatling cannons on that Apache. Apache destroying one of the Akatsia artillery. Still opening fire now on the 3 remaining. T-80 now moving in to destroy the AMX that's moving in. Units are stunned. Another unit destroyed. Akatsias are sprinting towards cover. Very good move. Artillery. I'm sorry, anti-aircraft missile system is now firing on the Mi-2 and Mi-24, getting those out of there. As you can see, they're critical on 57mm rockets, but are very good with remaining stock of heavy anti-tank ATGM missiles. Abrams now being called in. These are not yet arrived, but you will see these arrive in just a moment. And more chaparrals now coming onto the battlefield. 2 here, 1 with empty missile rack, and 2 more moving into the battlefield to deal with these Mi-24s that have probably really frustrated him. Leopard 2A4 destroyed by the Mi-24s that still have remaining missiles. 3 T-62s and T-80 sitting there, and finally destroying that Leopard tank. Chaparral now moving in with no missiles, unfortunately. It can't really do anything to engage those Mi-24 VPs, and I would call those the VIPs at this point, since they are able to destroy a lot of units that the tanks just could not. Now refilling the battlefield with heavier tanks and a few more anti-tank weapons, such as the Mi-24 is a good bet. The 2 K-12 Cub being moved into the battlefield to deal with the Apaches that were flying around. I'm not sure if there will be another Apache, but it is a good idea to bring in the Cub, since it is a very long-range weapon. In fact, if we hit tab here, I believe we can look that it has a 3,500 meter radius on the range, and it carries up to 3 missiles. Very good weapon for destroying anything from long range, especially to counter those Apaches that have been pestering us with their with their missiles, long-range missiles. VAB now moving in into this wooded area to cut off reinforcements, as I thought he would, as stated earlier. T-80 now opening up fire on that chaparral, which was destroyed. Boom! You see a nice little explosion there. Dope. And I don't believe it had missiles on it. Perhaps it's this one that's moving out of the way. Abrams now on the battlefield. We've got 4 M1 Abrams tanks moving into the battle. They're now scouting for targets, and it looks like he's just waiting for more infantry to arrive. And it looks like he's also going to funnel those chaparrals in to defend those. This is the moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. This is where it will come down. Chaparral moving to the left, seeing maybe perhaps if he can counter any helicopters that might be sitting back here. Maybe I've moved my Mi-24 VPs back there, but I have not. Really exciting now. Artillery firing away at that forested area again, seeing if I can hit the newly captured Delta zone from his forces he now controls. Foxtrot, Delta, Golf, and Hotel moving from Echo, where it got a little hot just before. Artillery now opening fire on exactly where that VAB is, and it's only a matter of time until they hit it, unless he either destroys the artillery or moves the unit. Shaftswehr FAMAS now being engaged by the motor Strelicky. 3 VABs moving in, a total of 6 VABs moving in 2 groups, 2 of them destroyed. No infantry survivors. BTR-60 PAIs are now sitting in back, ready to destroy any more infantry that advances. It looks like he might have not been paying attention. I definitely would have fired off some... I would have unloaded that infantry and got them on their way before they hit the... oh my god, a lot of exchange here from the Mi-24 and chaparrals that are firing at the Mi-24s. No hits yet, but those missiles keep coming. No destruction yet, rather. And it looks like they unloaded their entire cache of missiles, and no deaths from the Mi-24. He did not unload his infantry before the tree line, and that accounted for a lot of my gain right there at the end. So as you can see, kill score 1309 totaling to 1504. Very interesting here. 1309 to 1504. Minor victory on my part. Definitely a nail biter, only lasting almost 20 minutes. So very exciting. You can see a lot of tactics going on there. He brought in a lot of really great weapons, but you know, sometimes it just doesn't go your way. And so you know, until next time, friends and fans,